So I go from the art of war to, I say physiological responses, but I think it's beyond that. One doesn't just grow into their palate pushing forward. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But what I will say is, I was watching, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's a series that I used to watch and I loved it. And it was called The Young Pope. I don't know if anybody's watched The Young Pope or The Conclave. I don't even know. I might have mentioned this already. Um, but both are really good. The Conclave, what I find interesting about The Conclave is that, it challenges our way of thinking. Obviously, it's such a base way of explaining it, to be perfectly honest. But when I say that it challenges our way of thinking, and it also challenges our biases, and we don't realize, sometimes that we have them. And then there are other times where you say to yourself, oh, okay, um, there are definite biases there. And even borderline, some additional wording, but I won't even choose to use that wording. I read the fine line sometimes, and sometimes I just simply go over that line, and I say to myself, well, I'm sure I won't be running for any political offices, or they won't hire me for any government offices by the time I'm done with whatever I have to say. So it is what it is. I just voiced my opinion, and you like it, you don't. It is what it is. They're still my opinions no matter what, and everybody's entitled to theirs. So just so you know, don't ever get and sit up and say, somebody says, oh, well, you're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you need to be able to say, you know, we're going to do it anyway. So with that in mind, what I was going to say is that, I'm watching the Conclave. I'll touch on Conclave first. It's really a good movie. So it centers around the decisions and that go into, or the decision making process that goes into choosing the next pope. This is really interesting, like I said, because they're challenging their biases, and they're challenging, I guess, the friendships, if you will, the associations, if you will, that they have. And then they recognize that there are some who are, a bit more interested. And, one of the comments that was made that I found fascinating is that someone wants it too much. And when people want it too much, they're not the person that you're looking for to lead. And I found that one fascinating. But Young Pope, with Jude Law, is amazing. You guys have to watch that, because I'm talking to other people now as well as myself. I'll probably go back and do it. But one of the things that he says, and which has always been, well, I wound up picking it up, was, now, God, we're going to have to deal with, whatever it is. And I found myself using those words, saying that, now, God, we're going to have to deal with these